A construction worker checking a roof line takes one step backward. His boot finds empty air where a guardrail is supposed to be. Gravity takes over instantly. In the first second, he drops 16 feet. By second 3, he hits the ground at nearly 60 miles per hour. That 3-second drop triggers an 18-month grueling crawl through physical therapy and surgeries. For the employer who failed to install the barrier, it results in a $312,000 fine from OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. We often call these events accidents, but when safety protocols are explicitly ignored to save time or money, a worker plummeting from a roof is a predictable, calculated outcome. Falls are the single deadliest hazard on any job site, accounting for roughly 40% of all construction fatalities. It is an industry-wide epidemic. That same disregard for basic safety scales up.
When an entire building is missing its structural integrity, the results level city blocks. In October 2019, the under-construction Hard Rock Hotel in New Orleans pancaked into the street. Delmer Joel Ramirez Palma, an 18-year veteran of the construction industry, was working on the upper floors when the concrete gave way. He survived the collapse and became the central witness to the disaster. His account reveals a grim reality. When minor safety violations are brushed aside daily, they lay the groundwork for catastrophic, deadly failures. To understand how these failures happen, we have to look at the engineering designed to prevent them. OSHA Subpart M regulations mandate strict fall protection for anyone working 6 feet or more above a lower level. The primary defense is a personal fall arrest system, or PFAS. It relies on 3 components: a harness, shock-absorbing lanyard, and anchor point. If a worker slips, the lanyard catches them. The harness distributes kinetic energy across the thighs, pelvis, and chest, preventing internal injuries. These engineering controls reliably defeat gravity, but they only work when corporate management prioritizes them over the speed and cost of construction. At the Hard Rock Hotel site, investigators found fatal engineering errors built into the building's core. Forensic analysis showed that steel beams on the 16th floor were sized identically to the beams on the lower levels. Forced to support the weight above, it resulted in a 300% overstress. Furthermore, the engineer failed to adequately design the steel bolt connections. Once shear and tension loads overwhelmed the bolts, the structural members failed. This creates what structural engineers call a progressive failure. When the overstressed 16th floor gave out, it fell onto the 15th floor, which instantly failed under the combined weight, triggering a top-down chain reaction. The structure was mathematically doomed before crews ever poured the first batch of concrete. Delmer Joel Ramirez Palma felt this disaster coming. Working on the upper levels, he noticed the building vibrating underfoot. He saw crews loading heavy materials onto concrete that had not yet fully cured to its required strength. Knowing the danger, Delmer warned his supervisors at King Company, a subcontractor on the project, at least 5 separate times about these structural anomalies. The response from project management was blunt. They told him that if he didn't want to do the work, they would find someone else who would. That threat relies on a vast pool of precarious immigrant labor. Contractors routinely use the vulnerability of these workers to maintain aggressive construction schedules and silence the very people best positioned to spot life-threatening hazards. Systemic negligence requires 2 ingredients to become a reality: severely flawed engineering and a corporate culture that actively threatens its workers into silence. In the immediate aftermath, search and rescue teams navigated a highly volatile wreckage. 2 precarious tower cranes loomed over the pancaked floors, threatening a secondary collapse. 3 workers died, and dozens more were injured. Following a rigorous investigation, OSHA issued citations for willful and serious safety violations against multiple companies involved in the project. On a complex job site, blame doesn't stop at the immediate supervisor. OSHA utilizes the multi-employer citation policy, a rule establishing that more than one employer can be cited for the exact same hazardous condition. This policy allowed investigators to roll accountability straight up the corporate ladder. Liability traced from the subcontractor through the general contractors all the way to the structural engineers at Heaslip Engineering and the project developers. In the eyes of federal safety investigators, the architects of the construction schedule carry the same liability as the architects of the building itself. Falls remain the leading cause of death in construction, a core component of what OSHA calls the Fatal Four. Today, they still account for 37% of all construction fatalities. Whether it is a single worker stepping off a roof missing a guardrail, or an 18-story high-rise pancaking into a city street. The root cause is identical. Both happen because management treats safety as an expendable line item. These deaths are entirely preventable. When proper fall protection systems are installed, rigorously inspected, and fiercely enforced, workers go home to their families. To understand the forensic breakdowns behind workplace disasters, subscribe to our channel for deep dives into the engineering that keeps us safe. Safety isn't an accident, and neither are these disasters.